what can you tell us that the Chief of Staff is going to say to Mr. Shriver?
I don't know. He is, as you know, he's apologized, and we're all just moving forward. Sir?
Bill, tell me how things are going with respect to Iran and pursuing these sanctions against them. Bring us up to date on that.
Well, I would just say that Iran needs to live up to its obligations to the international community. But as a result of some of our policies, we have seen successes. We've seen that the international community is more united than it ever has been before in this region. Iran is more isolated from the international community than it has been before, and the nation of Iran is divided internally about what the best way forward is. So our view is that the door is still open. There's an offer on the table, and there's still time for Iran to do the right thing. But obviously they have not just yet. But if they don't, we'll apply all pressure that we can to make sure that they do. Elizabeth?
How much more time, though? You said December 31st was the time, and also how much leverage do you really have over China given the tensions that have erupted in the last week or two?
Well, on time frame, I don't have a new time frame for you necessarily, but I will say that obviously this is an issue that's deeply important to the president, and we do think that we've had an impact on. As it relates to China, the president's view is that our relationship with them is mature enough that on issues where we disagree, we can disagree but work together to come to agreement. And we can also work with them on issues of mutual concern, like nuclear nonproliferation, the global economy, climate change, and things like that.
Talking about the sanctions on Iran, will they back sanctions on Iran?
Well, that's probably a better question for China. Elizabeth.
This event today, the Q&A with Senate Democrats, Bill, what does the White House see? Is this akin to what happened in Baltimore with the GOP last week? And also, what's the ultimate usefulness of these Senate Democrats who are running for re-election questioning the president?
Well, the president's view is that we ought to be as transparent as we can. And this meeting with Senate Democrats was an opportunity to, in open fashion, talk to them about some of the challenges that we have, some of the things that we need to work together to get done, and take their questions on a variety of issues. The Senate, I don't know if it was Senator Reid or another senator picked who asked the questions, but it was a pretty productive exchange, and I think that everybody felt like folks got a lot out of it.
Does this, combined with Baltimore, represent a sort of new approach by the White House to getting its message out?
We're certainly more, these meetings are certainly more on camera than they used to be, so in that sense, it is new.
Can you follow up on that?
Sure, David.
Thanks. As you might know, there's a coalition of right and left bloggers, politicos, including
Cable pundits?
Pundits, commentators, people who watch cable TV and people who don't, and including people who used to work in the administration and people who worked on the Obama campaign, who are asking both the president and the congressional Republican leaders in the House and Senate to hold these question time sessions, to commit to holding them on a regular basis. Would the White House do that?
Well, David Axelrod has talked about this a little, and what he had to say was that part of the reason that Friday was so successful with the GOP conference is that it was for the spontaneity that occurred there. And it's going to be hard to sort of recreate that spontaneity that happened. Now, the president thinks that there is space for more open dialogue, and he's going to look for more opportunities to do things on camera and have open discussions on important issues. But in terms of regularly scheduled event, I don't have anything for you on that. Mark?
Bill, when the president at the town meeting yesterday said he hopes that he can get health care enacted this year, is this year his new and latest deadline? Is there anything before that that he wants to set, or is he going to give this Congress the whole year to get it done?
I think the urgency of getting health care done because of the impact that the costs have on our federal deficit, that it has on small and large businesses, that it has on individuals, didn't go away, and the president wants to get it done as soon as possible. We don't have a specific deadline for what the next phase in this is, though.
Are you able to say in what way he expects it might be enacted? With that one, House vote, or reconciliation or something of that nature?
No, he is not said. Roger?
Bill, back to Ray LaHood this morning. Did the administration ask Mr. LaHood to tone down the original statement?
Not that I know of. I think that he said something that he felt could be misconstrued, and so he cleared it up in that press conference that you saw.
The White House has confidence in Mr. LaHood?
You bet.
All right. Another question. You mentioned Locke is doing a speech tomorrow on the trade accords. Does the administration plan to renegotiate those trade accords before sending them to the Hill?
You'll have to wait for the speech to see what the trade policy that he's talking all about is. But this might surprise you, but I don't have any news for you on renegotiating trade agreements today.
The administration has had some trouble with the Columbia Accord before.
Well, you know, people come to this from different places. I think folks agree that exports help the economy, they help create American jobs, and the president is committed to doubling exports over the course of the next 5 years. But, you know, nobody's going to agree on a specific trade accord just as it sits. So the president's going to continue to work with folks to make sure that we get to a good agreement that works for American workers and works for getting trade going in an aggressive way.
On Pakistan, there were 3 U.S. troops killed this morning. Is there any comment on that? Do you guys have any more details on that or any comment?
Well, obviously our hearts go out to those families of the troops who were killed there today. I also saw that some of the girls who were at the school where they were killed as well, which shows the heinousness of the type of criminal that would inflict that sort of pain and suffering on folks there. The President of the United States condemns these attacks. They only act to underscore the threat that these extremists in Pakistan are to both Pakistan and to the United States, and we're committed to rooting them out.
One other question, the biofuels thing this afternoon, there's a report coming out saying that the U.S. is failing to meet the biofuels targets set in the 07 energy legislation. Why is that?
I don't have anything for you on that. There's a call at 4 o'clock you should hop on where we'll get into some granularity of biofuel policy. Get some hot water. Major?
Yeah.
No, I'm not leaving.
No,
Stick around.
No, I just want to pause for some more.
Yeah.
How would you evaluate the criticism from some that on Abdul Muttalib, yes, there is more information now, but it might be in the context of plea negotiations, and it might have been extracted before the United States, from a judicial position, perhaps had to offer things on the table legally to get him to talk more?
I think that's actually addressed in Gibbs's email that that's not on the table.
None of that is...
Right.
That there is no conversation whatsoever occurring within the context of a plea deal.
I mean, I'm not going to say what conversations are occurring or not occurring, but if you look at the email that Gibbs sent you just a couple hours ago, it said that there's no plea agreement on the table.
And therefore, all these conversations could have happened earlier, but they're just happening now in a different context? I mean, what's causing him to talk now in ways that he didn't before?
Well, I mean, we went through some of the ways that he agreed to cooperate in terms of getting his family involved, which was helpful, and he's just decided that the best course of action is to cooperate and provide this information that he's decided to provide.
On his own. Okay.
But here, this is from Gibbs's email. Abdul Muttalib has not been offered anything. The Department of Justice takes his cooperation into consideration, but he's been offered nothing.
Not formally or informally. Fine.
Can I just hop in for one quick question?
Sure.
I'm sorry, Major, but whether it's Brennan's letter to the Hill, Holder's letter to McConnell today, the briefing yesterday, there's a much more aggressive case being made by the White House and the administration on how you guys are waging the war on terror and fighting for national security. What changed in the last couple days to prompt this reaction?
I don't know if I necessarily agree that it's a much more aggressive case being made. The president has made speeches about Afghanistan. Holder's been out there. Brennan's been out there. I think that we've seen a pretty coordinated effort to make sure that the American people know what's happening inside the administration and how hard the president is working to keep them safe.
I mean, do you feel that there was something that was not